Hey kids, it is Monday, October 5th, and this week we are starting our short story writing assignment. So this is your first writing assignment for 6th grade language arts, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm going to be sharing with you a couple documents. I'm going to put it on the doc screen. I'm going to share my screen with you. And we're going to go over what are your expectations for this week, and then just for today. You have 2 tasks to complete today, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you the short story assignment sheet that's also going to be shared in Google Classroom. So let's share our screen, and we'll go to our short story assignment sheet first. And here we go. So some of you received this to me on Thursday if you're in cohort B. Cohort A, you'll be getting this today. And distance learning kids, it'll be in Google Classroom for you. So if you see a pencil border around a piece of paper or around something I give to you, that means it is a writing assignment. So the pencil is like a writing assignment. And what you'll be doing is writing a fictional short story. So using the elements of fiction that we have been discussing for the last month, you're going to take those and apply them in your own short story. So the task is to write a creative, original short story. And you're going to be using those elements of fiction as well as the plot diagram to help you tell your story. Some of the story requirements, I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't want this video to be too long, but you will need to include paragraphs, and you need to include each of the elements of fiction we have covered: setting, characters, point of view, conflict, and plot. And we talked about it. A short story or a story doesn't really work if you don't have those pieces in place. This MLA format, Times New Roman, 12-point font, I'm going to show you that when we get into our document really quick. So this has to be done in Google Docs on Google Classroom, and it'll automatically be shared with me. 2 things to know: you'll be starting a pre-writing packet today, so something that will help plan your writing. We'll look at that after this, and that is going to be due tomorrow on Tuesday. So it doesn't matter if you are at school today, if you're at home today, or you're a distance learning kid. Your task to complete today for your classwork tomorrow is to have your pre-writing packet done. And then your final draft for this is due this Friday. So you have a whole week to work on it. But yeah, it's due this Friday. And there will be no weekly assessment. I'll bring this up a couple times, but this is your weekly assessment, is you writing this. So it'll actually be due on Friday. No like Google form weekly assessment, just the short story. Now on the back side, or the second page of this document, you'll see this MLA format and double spacing. So you can go here if you are confused by what I talk about or show you today. But this is telling us how we're going to put a heading on our page, and then also how to make sure your paper is double spaced. Here is the rubric that I'll be using to assess it. It is 18 points for these 6 items, and then there will be 2 additional points given for MLA format and following the requirements on the front of this page, which means this is a 20-point assignment total. So one of your biggest assignments yet. And since it's a writing assignment, it is not homework, it's like a test grade. So you really want to take this seriously. So this is what we're starting this week, and this is what we'll be working on all week. You can always come back to this and double check. I would recommend coming back to it to double check to make sure you're not missing anything. Okay? Let's move on to our pre-writing sheet. So this is the other item that you'll be getting if you're a distance learning kid. There's a digital form of it. If you're cohort A, you're getting it today. If you're cohort B, you got it on Thursday, so you want to take that out. And this is going to be your task for today, is starting to plan your story. So it's kind of a neat little thing where all you have to do is just go through and kind of answer the questions. So for example, what type of world are you going to have in your story? Is it going to be real, like realistic fiction, or is it going to be an imaginary world on and everything's different? I want you to name that place. I want you to tell me kind of like what the weather's like, or just give us, those are those details of setting that I'd like to know. But if you're going through and you just fill this out, if you have all these pieces, then you should be able to put those into your story really easily. You do need to have not just a place, but a time. Is it in the past, present, or future? And then you have some space to give me some more description about your setting. Same for main character and antagonist. Just give us some details about this main character. And remember, you're making this up. This is this is you. So this is just kind of help you to organize your thinking about your protagonist. What is their name? What's their age? Do they have skills? Are they bad at stuff? Just give us a picture of who this person is, or this animal, or this character. And then also who or what is the antagonist. And then our second page of the pre-writing packet talks about point of view. And so is it going to be an outside narrator, like third person? And then you kind of follow this arrow to answer these questions. Or is it going to be first person, and that person who's telling the story is in the story? So you just need to make a decision on how you want to do it. And then you are going to kind of this will help you to craft how you're going to actually be telling the story. And then finally here on this page is something about thoughts and feelings. And later this week, we're going to do a video about how you can help include thoughts and feelings in your story. And that will be included. The only time it won't be included is if you're doing third person objective or camera. But I'm going to tell you right now, third person objective or camera is really hard to do, and not a lot of authors do it. I wouldn't recommend using it, because then there's no way for us, the reader, to get into the thoughts of anybody's head, because there are zero thoughts. And then finally, you've seen this before. This is our plot diagram. And so here, if you just answer the questions in each of these boxes, you should be able to fill this out pretty quickly, and that'll be kind of how your story goes. And you are going to write down the really, really big things that are going to happen to your character. Now, I'm going to talk about this later, but when we're talking about our story here, we are not thinking like Rikki Tikki Tavi length. We are thinking Rise and Fall of the Fire length. This is a short story. So you should not spend more than a few lines on each of these parts, because you don't have the time or the space to do that, okay? So really, really short story, meaning just the most important things that happen. And like we talked about with Rise and Fall of the Fire, it could be as simple as needing to light a fire. It does not have to be some big, massive story with all these different characters. The simpler, the better. You have a character who has a problem and they need to solve it. And that's it. So your task for tonight, the first task, job number 1, is for you to fill out this pre-writing worksheet, or this packet, to prepare you to start writing tomorrow. If you want to start, if you finish this and want to start writing tonight, you can, but the one task of the 2 is pre-writing packet, okay? So filling this out, and I really recommend, don't sit there going, I don't know what I want to do, I don't know what I want to do. Just start picking something and going with it, because we only have this week to work on it, and if you start your pre-writing packet on Tuesday, that means you only have a couple of days to write, and I want to give you as much time to write as possible. Okay, so that's task number 1, pre-writing packet to prepare your story for writing. Task number 2 is going into your Google Doc that I'm sharing with you and setting it up. So let's go to our Google Classroom really quick. And we are on Monday, October 5th, that is today. You have a warm-up. Tell me about your feelings about fall, 2 complete sentences. And then here's your short story writing assignment. So you're going to go here and you're going to click on short story writing assignment. I shared a Google Doc with each of you, and what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to update that for you. So let's go here, and this is what it looks like. So it says, it'll say short story assignment at the top. Actually, it'll just say short story assignment like that. I'm using this copy so that I don't mess up the one I sent to you guys. And this is what we call MLA format, okay? And this is what is expected of you from now until you graduate high school, and maybe even into college, depending on what type of area of study you go into. And this is how you will start and turn in every single writing assignment that you do in middle school for sure, and definitely high school as well. So this is what yours looks like. And in these brackets, I have student name, teacher name, class name, and date due. And those 4 pieces are always at the top on the left side. Now, I actually already did something for you on your document. I already made it double-spaced, and I already changed it to Times New Roman, font size 12. So you don't even have to do that. So Ms. Doyle did part of your job for you. And so I want you to see like what I'm expecting for here. So for your student name, you would just say, let's say Grace Van Patten. That's my niece's name. So I just erased student name and I wrote my student name in. And then my teacher name, well, that's me. So you're gonna write Miss Doyle. The class name, now I'm gonna know who didn't watch my video if they don't put this in there correctly, is Language Arts 6, because you are in 6th grade. So I'm gonna know who didn't watch the video because they're not gonna have Language Arts 6 in there correctly. And then finally, the date due, you can actually see it's up here, 10/9/20. You can actually even write Friday, October 9th, 2020, okay? And for this, in this spot right here, I've actually center justified it for you. You're gonna write your title, and it's not underlined, nothing like that. You're just gonna say you can pick whatever you want. I'm just picking this up, making this up right now. The most exciting day ever. And that's gonna be the title of my story, let's say. And then you press enter, and you make sure you go back to left justified. So you see how, I'm gonna go back actually to show you that. See how when I pressed return after title, it was still center justified? All you gotta do is click on left align, and then you can start writing your story. One day, but you don't need to do that today. The only thing you need to do is to do your pre-writing packet, that's one. And then number 2 is to go to your classwork right here, click on the Google Doc, and then you need to change this MLA format to this that has your name, not Grace Van Patten, your name, but the other 3 items should be the same. It should say Miss Doyle, it should say Language Arts 6, and it should say Friday, October 9th, 2020, because that's the date it is due, okay? So 2 tasks tonight, and this is your exit ticket actually. Number 1, pre-writing packet. You wanna get as much of that done as you possibly can before class tomorrow, because then you're gonna be that much farther along, and you'll be able to use your work time wisely. Task number 2 is to update the Google Doc that I shared with you with your personal information in what is called MLA format. M, like a capital M, capital L, capital A. And then if you can't figure out a title right now, that's okay, you can come back to that, but that's all you need to do for your work today in your Google Doc. Tomorrow, we're gonna start actually typing, okay? So again, you will have a short story assignment sheet right here, and you can go over that, any of the other questions you have, or if you want to double check that you're doing something correctly. Like I said, it's a max of 2 pages. 2 pages, no longer. Actually, if you go longer than 2 pages, but you haven't even gotten to your climax yet, then 1, I'm going to try to catch you before it's due and say, hey, you need to shorten this, or I'm just going to stop grading after that. So maximum 2 pages, you really got to cut it down. And then your homework tonight, for like the 3rd time, is the pre-writing packet, filling this out and making sure that you have all of the pieces that you need here. If you are unsure of what the exposition, inciting event, rising action is, you can find that in your notes. And then your last task is to go into Google Classroom, to go to your short story assignment, and just change the MLA format to your personal information. And then it's shared with me. You don't even need to turn it in. So I'm just gonna start grading after Friday, okay? I know this is a little bit longer video, but all of this is really important information. If you have any questions, you can always email me or Ms. Sequoia, and look for another video tomorrow to help us talk about what we should do for paragraphs. And then on Wednesday, we're gonna talk about some point of view ideas. So this week is a writing week. We are writing the whole week, and I'm really excited to see them, and they're due on Friday. So again, any questions, let me know. But your exit ticket is the 2 tasks you have tonight: pre-writing packet and updating Google Doc with MLA format. All right, have a great day, guys. Bye.